Hello friends. So in this video we are going to cover the concept of list in Python, why it is used and why it is important in this language. But before understanding this concept, we need to understand the concept of data structures because list is considered as a standard or a built-in data structure provided by Python. So let's understand what data structure is in layman language. So, when you're creating a program, and especially if that program requires you to store certain data, so it's very important that your data should be structured. Your data should be structured in order for your program to work efficiently and effectively. So that's why the data structures are used, because if you are performing a task without data structure, it may cause some problems or it may cause some performance issues. So that's why generally a standard data structures are used, and even sometimes programmer create their own data structures to store the data as per their requirements. So that is the concept of data structure. Now, list is also a kind of a data structure which is built into the Python package. Okay, so that's all for the theory. Let's start a practical part here. So for example, I want to create a list which will hold all the subjects which I'm studying right now. So let's say, okay, so now I will create a variable named subjects. Now I will assign the value, I will assign this variable to a list. This will indicate that we are creating a list. Okay, now inside it we will enter all the components or the elements of the list. Now let's say, first of all, I want to add maths as a subject. Then I'm going to add, sorry, English. Then I want to add science. Okay, what happened? Okay, sorry. Okay, now, so what we have done here is we have declared a list and we have given three elements into this list. We have three elements sitting into this list. This is simply a variable which is storing three elements. So this is simply a data structure. Now your data is simply structured. Okay, here. Now there are certain capabilities provided by this list data structure. For example, if you want to, but before that, let's try to see what will be the output when we'll print the list. So as you can see, when we try to print this list variable, it will return us, it returned us all the three subjects which we have stored into this list. Okay, now let's say if I want to access a certain element or certain, let's say, subject. Let's say I want to access English. Now how can I access it? Because when we try to print this list, we have everything, and we have every item of this list. Now let's say I want to get, or let's say I want to retrieve this value English. So we need to call it by the address. Now in order to call certain thing or certain element from the list, we use this slicer. Let's say I want to access English, so we will call this English by its address, and its address will be 1 because the address starts from 0, 0, 1, 2. So if you want to call math, we will call it by 0. If you want to call English, by 1. Then science, 2. So it always starts with 0. It is also called the index of the list. So it is an index. If you are giving 0 index, it will print you the value of the element stored on the 0 index. So let's say I want to retrieve the value of English, so I'm gonna give 1 index value, or the value 1. So when I try to call it, as you can see, we have English now. List also provides us certain more capabilities, like we can add certain more items without changing the items here. Let's say, for example, I want to add one another subject called, let's say, social. So let's say, okay, so what I will do is I will call the list, then I will select a function of that list called append, then I will simply add social as a subject into it. Okay, now let's print the list before this operation and after this operation as well to see the actual effect. Now when we will execute this script, we can see we have this additional element added just after this function. Okay, so as we can see, this is working. Now let's say I want to remove one item from this list, so I can use another method predefined under this list, that is the remove method. Let's say I want to remove this maths element. So now let's try to print it. As you can see, in our latter output we don't have math and we have social added, just like we have expected. So we have certain more capabilities, like, or we have certain more functions or methods like this. You can explore if you want, you can explore them if you want, like sort, clear. Yeah, there's one more thing like clear. If you want to clear each and every item from this list, if you want to clear the whole list, you can use the clear function. As you can see, now we have nothing in this list, everything is cleared. Okay, now you might be wondering why this list is used. Like, we have understand that it's a part of a data structure, but is there any, is list have any practical usability, or how can we use it in practical life? So in order to solve that, let's create a practical life example here. So let's say I'm creating a student management system. Okay, so what we want from this program is a program that will add the student names who have given admission into our school. So we are management. Okay, so sorry, or the management ask us to create it. So let's create a list called students. So this list will hold the variables or the values of every student which are going to take admission in our school. Now we will use a while loop because we want this program to run till the condition become false, which will never become false because it's mentioned true here. So it will run infinite times, and we want to, let's say we want our management to give the input. So we will create a temporary variable name student name, which will hold the value given by the management each time. And let's say enter new student name. Okay, now when the management will enter the value of a new student, it will be stored into this temporary variable, and then we want to add that value into our list. So simply we will call the list and we will use the append function to end the student name above. Okay, so now using this function, what we have done is we have simply added the name or append the name to this list. Now for proof, let's print the values of this list again. Okay, so our program is ready now. Now let's say I want to, let's say we have given this program to the management. Now let's say the management will enter Tanmay, this is my name. So as you can see, Tanmay is added in the list. Now let's say I want to add Rahul. So as you can see, Rahul is also added. Let's say I want to add Vaibhav. So it's also added. So it's simple as that. We can use the list in the programs like this. But remember this thing, the list is stored into our RAM, which is a volatile memory. We are not storing the data in hard drive, which means that when you will quit this program, that every data which you have stored into this list will be removed. It will not be stored somewhere. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching this video.